Welcome to PM Express Business Edition. It's a season of love, sharing, having all the fun, partying. But in the midst of doing all these things, how do you ensure that you spend right during this season so you don't end up being broke come January 2021? And that is what we are doing here on PM Express Business Edition, spending right so you don't end up being broke come next year. I am Santa George and I'll be your host for this program on PM Express, and I'll be doing this with financial consultant, business strategist and chartered accountant Charles Mez. I'll be sharing with us, what do you do during this time when everybody wants money to go home? How do you get it right? All these things wrapped up on PM Express Business Edition, and we are coming to you from the Swiss Spirit Hotel here at Ridge in Accra. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition as we look at spending right so you don't end up being broke come next year. We are coming to you from the Swiss Spirit Hotel, Ridge here in Accra. And Uncle Charles, welcome, and how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm well. Thanks for having me. And I like your
lovely,
lovely.
Santa George, I'm giving some goodies during this Christmas. Maybe at the end of the show, I don't know, coming to you from a hotel. Maybe you can walk in here and have all the lunch that you want to have, Uncle Charles.
You never know. Surprises.
So, I mean, this year has been a very interesting year, some would say. For you, being in that space where you advise, you consult, you help people strategize, how would you describe this year?
This year was pretty tough. Very, very tough at the initial stages. I mean, when the COVID hit us as a country, and when the lockdown equally came in, I mean, it was tough for some of our clients. So some of them went into strategic sections and realigned their businesses to respond to the opportunities that the COVID brought. Much as it was a challenge, it brought some opportunities. So you notice that some companies amended their object clause and started manufacturing sanitizers, as well as nose masks, as well as some brushes and cups and buckets and things like that. And then those very innovative, they came in with all sorts of washing bowls and things like that. So it was a challenge, at the same time it was an opportunity. So those companies who took advantage of the challenges, would end the year pretty well. And those who couldn't, because of naturally lack of working capital or where they find themselves, would not close the year well compared to the budget that I set for themselves for 2020.
But Uncle George, despite all these problems, and I read some of the articles in the Forbes magazine and all the rest, and it appears it was a good year for some. I mean, there's even a report that talks about how the rich quadrupled their earnings for just this period. And therefore, it shouldn't even be bad for all the firms here in Ghana.
Interesting. Interesting you mentioned that some people made money. I mean, the top of the list was
millions, some would say.
Yes, they made billions. I mean, the top on the list, the likes of Zuckerberg, the likes of Amazon.com. Guess what? They are in the internet business, communication business. They are in logistics business. Because much as the COVID was there, it was preventing us from doing things that we're doing normal, the new normal. They were still there delivering because people would need goods to be delivered. People would need medicines to be delivered, food to be delivered, things to be delivered. And they were into it. They were into it big time. So naturally, it was an opportunity and they grabbed it. That's why their fortunes went up. The other people were all in the health-related sector. Once you're in the health-related sector, this COVID brought in opportunity in terms of people eating healthy. Apart from eating healthy, people also, they were manufacturing drugs that to do with boosting your immune system, as well as some went into research, which all of a sudden, and I mean, usually for vaccines, it would take so many years to have it, but they've got
it. Was fast track, some would say.
They're all fast track, and that all those companies, the Pfizer and the Co, the owners will be making money because once they start supplying the billions of vaccines across the world, they will make money. So yes, those who are rich who double their money. It depends on the industry
Okay.
that you are in. If you had invested in the airline industry or hospitality industry, there's no way you build your fortune around this time. It didn't really
But
work.
what about locally, Uncle Charles? I mean, locally as well, I saw people switching into people who were just into the alcohol business, switching into
Sanitizers, yes,
face
yes.
masks. They also made some good money.
Of course, without a doubt. So all those people who went to the sanitizing business would make money. At a point in time, they even ran out of ethanol.
Yeah, yeah.
So they made serious money. Those who are even making alcoholic beverages switch because of the same input, use the same alcohol base to do sanitizer. Yes, so they made money. Those who had imported the ethanol for distribution fast-tracked it. So volumes went up. So they made money. But if we're in some other industry, if you're selling, what you call it, if you're in education, you're providing a service to educational institution. Maybe you're a restaurant operating in some of these schools. The schools were shut. So there's no way as a restaurateur you make money. You won't make money.
Yeah, yeah.
So it depends on where you were and where you are when the thing hit us and how quickly you can readjust it. So some readjusted around April, May, thereabout. So now the new normal, everybody's operating and they've attached internet, social media to their business because fiscal movement is gone.
Yeah.
So people are using the internet to order their goods or services and things like that. So it's really changing. I mean, my industry, for instance, most of the solutions we provide in the last 8 months is to do with cloud services.
Okay.
So basically, we are providing accounting service where the client logs onto our server, which is somewhere, and then they start working. So it changed. So we are not physically moving to clients' offices. We are solving sitting in our own
remotely
mode. So things have changed.
So let's do the sectoral performances as well. Let's look at for the SMEs as well. How would you describe them in a phrase, in a sentence? How was it like for them?
The very, very small ones, it was tough. But the micro, those on the streets and the market, they were able to switch quickly and started distributing, not manufacturing, but they started distributing the mask, the nose masks, distributing the sanitizers and all the related health, food and things. So they micro switched. But those in the small businesses, the chop keepers, the car hiring companies and things like that, they really suffered because people were not traveling for holidays that they were doing. People were not checking into hotels where they would need their services, the laundry services at hotels and things, because most of the hotels had outsourced the laundry services. So companies who were providing the laundry service for hotels didn't get business because they were not getting passengers. I mean, they were not getting customers. They were not getting guests. So there's no way the laundry service will boost. So that was practical. But those in the medium business, they were able to readjust because they had some good working capital. So immediately, they diverted themselves into other sources of income, and that enhanced themselves. So their core was shifted. So they went into non-core businesses and it really helped. That's what I'm saying, the new normal. So I know people who invested even into a logistics company, companies that were not into logistics, all of a sudden acquired themselves motorbikes, applied to what you call it, post Ghana
for the courier, regulatory
service,
to do courier business.
Yes, yes. So you notice that when you look around, there's quite a
lot of them.
A lot of them because it was an advantage. It was.
What about the big size firms as well? How was it for some? They had the shock absorbers to absorb the shocks.
Of course, the big size firm always have a strategy. What if analysis? What if something hit us? What is the factory catches fire? So they have all sorts of scenarios that they played. So some of them indeed went ahead and opened their book and they acted based on the book. Their cash flow was working. Some even went to negotiation with the employees that, look, you either take a pay cut or we close shop. So they negotiated and some, like I said, they took a pay cut for 50, 60, 70. So initially some people took 80%. So they dropped 20% of their pay. They were taking 80%. And along the line, it went to 50. And then it almost went into 40. Then things improved. So they restored to 80. You know, and then they are closing the year with 100. So for such businesses, they will be fortunate to have their employers helping them with some bonuses. But those who couldn't survive along the line, it will be tough to pay bonus. However, they will struggle to even pay salary.
I'll be getting more details into this whole bonus argument as well. I mean, today is this date, 24th, and I believe that there are people who have not been paid as of now. And how do you deal with this as a business owner in making sure that at this time, the essential workers and every worker on my books are paid?
As long as the person had worked for you, because you didn't lay them off during the COVID serious the initial stages, and they worked for you, I'm assuming that they were providing a service to the company. And I'm assuming that that services were being bought by customers. And I'm assuming that they are also equally paying. So if all this chain happens, then I will find it difficult to understand why you will not be pay them in December, unless otherwise, customers were not paying. You've locked up things with customers, maybe they haven't paid you. So on the basis of that, you can borrow. Hopefully, the person would pay you in February or January, so you're going to borrow now to pay salary for December. And then when they pay you January, February, then you can repay the banks. But anything short of that, it will be difficult to understand why people have not been paid. Because once they've worked, they want to be paid. And if things are not happening, you might as well discuss with them and then pay them something. Hopefully, January, February, they can pay the balance. So it is something that you have to judge with your employees. It's easier when it's a large firm. It is bit difficult when it's a medium size firm. And as for the small firm, it's emotions. Because at a point in time, the employees will try and look at the person of the owner of the small businesses and them. So the much as you can pay us, why are you driving your car? You know, so it becomes emotions.
And that is it, Uncle Charles, where the problem is that in during this period, where I see the company is making some good money, and I still get excuses around this time, no bonus, I can't increase your salary, I can't give you this. But you see that the company, despite COVID, was doing well.
As long as the company is doing well, you got to pay them. If it's not doing well, then you got to come clean with the employees. So if you don't come clean with the employees, then there's a problem. But if your company is doing well, please pay them. If it's not doing well, by now they should have known. You should have explained to them that we are not doing well and therefore we are not paying bonus. And therefore December salary will be a bit of a problem. But if you're not doing well, that's when you do this. But if you're doing well, please, you don't have any excuse. If there's a cash flow challenge as a result of customers not paying on time, then you have to use your bankers to pay your workers, so that once, sometimes I call it something invoice discounting. So your future invoices will be discounted now, you get a cash now, so that in future, maybe in January, February or March, thereabout, the customer can pay the bank direct and then you'll be fine.
Interesting. So let's look at the bit where some will say that, listen, you know, because of COVID, pay cuts, I can't do this, I can't do that. Some will say that in the midst of a feast, you can't tell me to fast. Therefore, I expect that when feast is going on, I should enjoy the feast. Don't talk about pay cuts. Don't talk about let's stagger the payment. Pay me and let me go enjoy this Christmas.
I should pay you. That's what I'm saying. As long as you are working with us, as long as you're providing a service, I will make an arrangement, or we have to make an arrangement for you. But where it is that you are not even adding value, you go to work because there's nothing to do. And you're fortunate to have been kept because we're hoping that things will improve. There's no way bonus will come in just for the mere fact of presenteeism. You've come to work. The year have ended, so I should pay you bonus. Where it is that you yourself know that you haven't added any value over the last couple of months because things are not working well. However, even your salary, you notice that I have been doing asset stripping. I have been selling companies' assets just to keep afloat, to pay you that, to pay you. Because you saw last 2 weeks, the company's car being repossessed. So things like that, the employees themselves are aware. What tends to be the challenge is that whilst it is COVID and we are finding it difficult to pay salaries, then the top management decides maybe they change a car or the car is given up but they change a car and those things. Then it will be difficult to explain away. So this I keep on telling people that when there's a challenge, this is not the time, even if it's your personal money as owner of the business, don't rather put the personal money into the business, but don't use it on your person because you can create a problem.
Would you advise to borrow to pay bonus?
No.
Why?
No, not at all.
Why shouldn't they? But I mean, some say that, listen, it tells how Uncle Charles loves me as a worker in a company, for staying with you over the years, for working very hard and all the rest. Give me the money to enjoy during this Christmas.
You see, I only recommend that you borrow to pay bonus if there is a light at the end of the tunnel in a couple of weeks. But if there's nothing like that, once you borrow, because don't forget that borrow, you are using other people's money, OPM.
Yeah.
And the other people's money immediately will be serviced. If you don't pay, they will close the company.
We work to pay.
So work to do what? That's what I'm saying, that unless there's something out there to state that, yes, we have some major orders coming through in March. We're in December. So I need to keep my employees happy, to stay happy during the holidays so that we can complete this order in March. On the basis of that, because of the March profits that will come in, you can go and borrow. But where you don't have any hope in the next 3 months, I don't see why you go and borrow. Rather, I will do a lot of talking with my employees and probably end up dipping my hand into my pocket and give them private.
Do you think that anybody's going to listen to your Uncle Charles truly that at this time that it's Christmas and you're telling me to still tighten my belt?
You look at your bank account. Everybody knows. That's what I'm saying, that transparency is everything. Around this, transparency. Everybody knows that. Even we always have to, every check, I have to go and see the manager. Every check, I have to go and see the manager. Meaning that I have to go and ask for overdraft facility to be given to us. Then it will be difficult for anybody to come through.
Because hold on, I'll be getting back to you the whole rationale behind this 13-month and this rice oil thing that people will have to do. Is it by force, or these coupons and all the rest, and whether tightening our belt will be right. But as we move on from the company, we'll be getting back to the individual expenditure as well, the events, the family as well, as you look at spending right during this season so you don't end up getting broke in January. That's what we are looking at on PM Express Business Edition as we come into you from a Swiss Spirit Hotel at Ridge. And you know, it's Christmas time. You can come here for your lunch, your dinner, enjoy all the parties that you can think about. The name is Santa George Yafe. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome to PM Express Business Edition, and we are coming to you from the Swiss Spirit Hotel at Ridge here in Accra. And it's all about Christmas, the season of love, the season of spending, the season of family gathering, the season of all nights, if you can talk about that one, and all other things. But how do you spend right so you don't end up getting broke during the first month of January? And who even determines what is spending right? For somebody who earns about maybe 10,000 Ghana cedis or 15,000 Ghana cedis, where do you draw the cap and how you spend very well during this Christmas? From the business side, from the individual side, and even for the family as well. All these things are being looked at here on PM Express Business Edition as we're coming to you from the Swiss Spirit Hotel. And you know, you can get all your parties here and everything you can talk about. Uncle Charles, so I was trying to get some distinction and understanding on this whole and you worked in several corporate institutions. What is the whole rationale behind it? Because at the end of the year, you pay me X amount of money, bonus, I go home. What is this thing about rice, oil, and now a new kid on the block, 4 coupons? People are saying that, okay, I don't like the rice anymore because it looks like that is better because I have a lot of options. Let me understand what is really behind this rice, oil. Yeah,
I think, George, it's a good point. I think Christmas really is a period of gift, showing love, sharing and caring. So most employers realize that, oh, look, one of the ways to share, apart from the cash or the salary, is to show appreciation by sharing some of the goods that we have. So some companies themselves were in the distribution of FMCG products. So it was easy to share. So whilst people were going home with such things, people also felt, other companies felt that, look, why don't we take some of the cash the ordinary would have given them so that they will physically go home with something? Because I tell you what, some of the bonuses, I mean, with some of the companies that I had worked for, when we pay bonuses, they were not telling their family. They'll go back home and lie to the family that, look, they pay us salary, they didn't pay any bonus.
Nothing, okay.
So one of the things is show evidence that we've given them something. So the companies were delivering, giving them rice, we're giving them bags of rice. So at least when they go home, they will see bags of rice. So if you can't go and lie about that.
Wow. So that was the whole rationale behind it?
It was partly the whole rationale. Showing appreciation also, people who were lying and so forth. So they were getting the bag. So it was showing. So then people were then competing. So it's become a whole industry now. Because now at the beginning of maybe half year, you see people starting that, oh, this year we don't like this kind of rice, we like this kind of rice. So, you know, it works through the whole
It's being graduated from a broken rice to perfume rice.
To perfume rice, to made in Ghana rice.
Made in Ghana perfume rice, you know, a high grade one.
Yes, a high grade one, yeah. So now it's become part of us. And this year, I can foresee a lot of yams also coming into play. I can foresee a lot of fowls, you know, those, the pottery. Yeah. They've done pretty well in the pottery industry. Okay. So I can foresee that happening now. I can foresee a lot of the local oil, the palm oil, because packaging has improved entirely in Ghana over the last couple of years. Our way of packaging stuff have improved, and because of that, when they put it together as a parcel, it becomes very nice and neat, and people are accepting that, unlike before.
But now it looks like the coupon is also getting in. People want to be given coupons as workers during this time as well.
I think the big shops are pretty done well with the coupon bet, because maybe George have received rice twice from 2 other friends.
From Uncle Charles?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the company says, you give another rice. No. I prefer coupon.
Yeah.
Because George is not going to tell the company, oh, I got the rice from Uncle Charles, so I prefer the coupon. So the coupon is also catching on, you know.
So I could buy some wine.
You can choose to select,
chocolate,
because
it's value. Rice, you know,
it's value, so you can choose. You can even also give it away.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because sometimes when you get a coupon worth X Y Z, you can decide also to give to somebody or buy things and share because you have enough already.
So can the company? I mean, there are some workers who are still. I want the rice and all the oil and all those things, and I still want the bonus as well. Where do we draw the line between still doing the bonus end of year from the company's perspective, and also the rice and the chicken as well? Do I do the bonus and I forget about everything? Or
No, it's all coming from the same pot.
Wow.
So you decide.
So you can split?
Yeah, for the company. I'm talking about the company.
Yeah.
It's coming from the same company's pot. What percentage have you allotted for staff costs or staff costs and staff welfare out of your company expenses? So if this is what is in the pot, and you decide to use 90% to pay fiscal salary to people, and then the 10% for welfare, so be it. So the accountants and the management of companies usually do the mix themselves. So it's coming with the same. It's the same pot. It's the same.
So it's not a mix of either or.
No. It's the same pot. So if you take this, I'll pay you 90% salary. Even those who are doing a 13th month, that's how we started. So the full 12 month salary that we're getting. So when they realize the employee insists that they get a 13th month salary, so the same pot they divide by 13 instead of 12. So your base salary will go down. So it's not, because if 12,000 and I divide by 12, I'm giving you 1,000.
Yeah.
If I divide by 13, I'm giving you less than 1,000, maybe 900 or something. So I'm paying you 900. I've negotiated with you hard. And now, in addition to that, so I'll pay you 13th month. When you add them up, it's the same 12,000. So it's the same pot. But people don't, yes, we're happy to receive 13th month. It's because the company have realized that you always come back for the 13th month. So
let me get some understanding here, Mr. Minister. So what is the rationale? Is it a separate salary altogether, the next month's that advance payment, or when I hear this 13th month salary? What is it? How is it worked out for
It is your staff cost.
Yeah. Next month's salary?
Yes. It's your staff cost for 1 year. How much is due to be paid to George? 12,000 cedis for the whole year, which means that George gets 1,000 cedis every month. That was my projection. At the last discussion with George, he raised the point about 13th month. Okay, it makes sense. So when I'm doing calculation as a company's accountant or management accountant, I would take, let's say next year we intend to increase worker salary by 20%.
Okay. So
20% of 12,000 gives me 14,400. So instead of dividing 14,400 by 12 to give me the monthly salary, I would divide by 13. So I come with you and say, George, this is how much I'm going to pay you. However, because you did so well, now I'm going to pay you 13th month. So in your mind, you are getting 13th month. In the company's profitability calculation, it is the staff cost. And you decided that you take 13 times of that instead of 12 times of that. That's all. It's very simple.
I see. Let's move on to the individual. I've been paid December, 12,000 Ghana cedis, 10,000 Ghana cedis. Good. Now, one of the questions we've been throwing up in this discussion is about spending right. I mean, who determines spending right what? I have to go to the parties. I need to sit down and drink with the boys. It's been a very tough year. COVID came. By God's grace, we are alive. How do you manage what is in your hands in the bank? When I know that, listen, I have to have fun. There's just 3 days. And you'll be shocked at the amount of money people spend just even 3 or 4 days because it's Christmas. And in January, they come back asking for more because they are totally broke. Who decides what to spending right? I have to have fun. As an Uncle Charles, it's been a tough year for me. I need just 2 days off to really have fun, go to the parties, the nightclubs, and everything.
You can't spend what you don't have. That's the first principle. You can't spend what you don't have.
What if I have the money?
Good. That's a different discussion.
Yeah.
When you have the money, you can spend. As long as the spending is sustainable.
Who determines what is sustainable?
You know tomorrow, you know January, you have expenditure to pay. So why are you spending all the money now?
I'll be paid in January.
Excellent. So that's what I'm saying, that if you pay in January, so be it. So you spend. So it is about sustainability. So I'll be paid in January. That means that you can be sustained in January. So then you can spend. But where you have expenditure and you have income, and your income is much lower than your expenditure over that short period, I usually will add January to it because January is like December.
Some are saying that the January month is more than the month itself.
Yeah,
It
that's what I'm
takes
saying.
so long.
You add to it. So when you do the calculation and you notice that, look, the income is not enough to meet this. So you can either decide that you are cutting back your expenditure. However, don't wait till Christmas before you plan Christmas. You know that come whatever it is, there will be Christmas.
Yeah.
So you may have made that plan as far as January is concerned. You may be putting some money into some insurance thing which you can cash in November. So you had planned that. But if you didn't plan and you hit it, you cannot spend what you don't have.
Shall I borrow to spend, Uncle Charles?
Oh, the same principle.
Will you call that code stupidity? Because there are people who borrow to spend in Christmas.
Provided your employers give you a letter that states that your bonus will be paid in January, then you can borrow. But if you didn't get the letter, you are not even sure that they will pay you the bonus in January. Why borrow now? Because immediately in January, in itself is a passing month.
Yeah.
And then you are going to get pressure from where you borrow the money from. So it won't make sense for you to go and borrow to spend. The best thing to do, when I told people, a group that I met a couple of days back, I said, look, this December, when people are pushing you, just say you have COVID. And therefore, you are supposed to stay indoors.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You are supposed to stay indoors for 2 weeks. And you've already done 1 week, so you've got 1 week more. Trust me, 3 days is within the 1 week. So after 1 week, Christmas is gone. You are back from, oh, I tested negative. I'm free. You've saved yourself. This is so, COVID is set up to say it's opportunity, it's a challenge though, it's opportunity, it's a strategy also for you.
But those are the externalities as the friends.
Yes.
Some will say the family is dead. I have a wife, I have 2 kids to deal with.
But why do you wait? Why do you wait? Your family. Why do you wait 1 week to Christmas before you say, oh, I have a family? In January, you know you have a family.
That is the
in
norm.
January. No, that's what I'm saying, that you plan towards it.
The reality, Uncle Charles, is that
you plan
a lot of people don't plan.
No, you plan towards your Christmas. You plan towards the school fees. You plan towards the...
I bet you I must confess, I didn't plan towards Christmas. I'm going to spend as and when pay as you go.
No, I tell you what. Electricity in your house.
Yeah.
You know definitely you started the month end, you pay electricity in the house. Commuting from your house to work, you know that you have to get money, either Uber or transport or the public transport, whatever it is. It's part of you. It's in the same way, Christmas ought to be part of your expenditure. You know. You see, you know. Unless some emergency happen that you cannot survive. But you should know by now that you have a family. There will be Christmas. Kids don't appreciate when you tell them there's no Christmas. So they will do some Christmas. So you can work around how you do your shopping with them. So maybe instead of going to the shop and buying what they need, you can do a shop list. So they all do a list, you do the calculations, and then we add, and we'll go to, so as we are buying, we are tracking it out. We're tracking it out. So you do a list with it so everybody's happy. Because you must plan towards it.
And sorry, Uncle Charles, to cut you, but some will say that that is the ideal situation. And I know where you're coming from, but the non-ideal situation is that some people will just realize that, oh, there is no bag of rice in the cupboard. Oh, I haven't bought the drinks for the kids. I haven't bought my daughter's Christmas dress. I haven't planned for my daughter going to the kids' party. Some planning will actually start on December 25th morning, on Friday morning, on Saturday morning.
I'm sorry, anybody who does that, it means that he's shaking up responsibility. Because you see, it should be part of you. You know you have a family. You know, George, we have to speak the fact. You know you have kids. You know Christmas is coming. You know your kid is 4 years. He'll be 5 years in January. He'll probably go to crash. You don't wait till his 5th birthday, a day after, that you decide that you're going to now look for a school for the person. It's not part of the planning. It must happen. And that's when you plan and you notice that the income that you will use is not enough, then you'll be looking for multiple streams of income. And that's why I've been preaching this for a long time. Personal finance. Because see, you must plan ahead. The expenditure I'm going to incur in January is this. My income is not enough to catch up with that expenditure. I have two options. Either I look for other source of income or I defer the expenditure. Now, if I have other source of income, so be it, I'm sustaining. But I defer the expenditure means that I'll go and negotiate with the person that the expenditure is emergency, is necessary, but I'll come and pay. So you can negotiate ahead of time. You don't wait. Or you probably will be sitting with your spouse to discuss how you are going to fund it. It is only a challenge when it's an emergency, something that we didn't plan, hit us. But something that comes normal, because Christmas is normal, it comes every year. But COVID is not normal. So if you are speaking to me, asking me a question about the COVID expenditure that came in, then you know that it's emergency, it wasn't unplanned. But you know that on the once we have on the 1st of January, we'll have 24th of December.
Uncle Charles, would you, I mean, it's a family. There's talk about head of the house and all the rest. Maybe the man and the wife, let's pull our resources together. Take care of the food, take care of the decorations, take care of the other things. I will deal with other aspects of the Christmas as well. Or it has to be the man's responsibility.
No, so you're doing a joint. Marriage is marriage. So those ones, the family finance. So you sit together. For all you know, I always tell my wife that he's a magician, because whatever money you give,
the women are always magicians.
Yes, but the magician, for whatever money you give, they have a way of doing things. Until last time when I followed up to the market, and I noticed that, so when they go to the market, they credit the items. Instead of 2, they give them 3, and so that banner, I'll come and pay. So they have built a certain relationship. Because I was trying to understand the magical bit of
it's good to bring them on board in the planning.
Yes.
Don't try to be a sole planner here.
At all.
When you look at the family expenditure this time.
Correct. So you involve them in the whole things that we don't have enough, or we have enough. Because all these things that we are talking about, it's all about what you have, what you are spending, and how to manage it. So the management bit comes in about what you have. It's not enough. What you want is a lot. What you have is not enough. So the management bit, so you are bringing the family in to manage, you and your spouse to manage the situation so that everybody is happy. And that's what you are focusing on. And when you, in fact, when you bring them in early, because if I look at the total expenditure for the family, so I get into Christmas, maybe I have my in-laws, your wife also have the in-laws and things. We are spending this as a family for our in-laws. We are spending this for friends. We are spending this for that. When you work out the numbers, please don't do it Christmas time. You should do it ideally January. If you can't do it January, start from July. So you are setting a certain amount aside your income. Once you are setting the money aside every month, when the time comes, you go and redeem it and then disburse it. So things are there. But when people decide to plan, oh, it will happen, oh, Christmas, don't worry, oh, they will pay me this. No, no, no. Plan properly so that when the unplanned comes in, at least you will not be shocked. And it's very important.
Uncle Charles, it's about planning properly so that when the unplanned coming, you'll not be sure. We'll be wrapping up this program very soon as in spending right as a business so you end 2021 January on a good note. This is PM Express Business Edition coming to you from Swiss Spirit Hotel at Ridge here in Accra. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome to PM Express Business Edition as we talk about spending right during this season. Why is it that people spend out of the world and they're even broke even before 31st of December? How do you spend right so that you don't end up getting broke in January 2021. Do remember that the school fees are there, the other expenditure that you also have to deal with come January 2021. Well, we're engaging financial consultant, chartered accountant, and business strategist Charles Mensah. He's helping us some advice so you get it right by the end of January 2021. We're coming to you from the Swiss Spirit Hotel here in Accra Ridge, where you can come here for all the celebrations during this Christmas. But also think about spending with the family as well. So, Uncle Charles, let's wrap up on the family as well.
Okay.
Do you do the shopping? Do you do the parties? Or maybe bring them to Swiss Spirit Hotel to have a lunch or buffet with all the family. That could also help you manage the budget.
Once you've planned, yes. I mean, it must happen.
But Uncle, don't you think that it is? I get you. That is the ideal, but I believe there are a lot of people out there who would now be looking into the cupboards and finding out whether we even have sugar, whether we even have rice. And I bet you the traffic on Friday morning is better to even do motorbike.
You see, George, let's not look at the thing as if December just came. It has been part of us. You must always look at that. It has been part of us. If there's no rice in the cupboard or no stuff in the cupboard for us, it is not because it is Christmas. It is because maybe we don't have income to fill the cupboard. Now, if we don't have income to fill the cupboard, what steps are we going to take, or what step did we take before so that we would always have a certain amount of food in the cupboard? Which means that we would work towards either improving a skill to increase future income, or we are getting multiple streams of income, or by having a joint discussion with your spouse so that we are looking at other sources of income. As I speak, with so much experience in the back as a consultant, any income, I still have my farms. I have maize farm in Winchi, I have a piggery farm in Gomafete. So we are looking at multiple streams of income.
So if you want to spend, I mean, draw multiple incomes.
Yes.
Don't depend on the office one.
No, not at all.
One that brings you that 10,000 Ghana.
And I didn't start
and you want to
today.
spend like somebody who's earning $1 million.
I didn't start today. For instance, this Christmas, this morning, I was telling friends that they should come by. I'll roast one full pork so that let's enjoy it. It's coming from my farm.
Yeah. That's your bonus to them.
Correct. So, but it didn't start today. It started 15 years ago. I didn't start a farm today. It started 15 years ago. So you can equally start something now. It will fetch income another time. So look at yourselves. Look at your income level now. And look at the skill that you have or the skill that you need. So come 2021, you should be looking at improving the skill. Because anytime you improve a skill, it increases your income. Any increase in skill, new learnings, increases your income. Either from the same job or from the other activity that the new skill can be applied. So that should be your focus at each point in time. Once you do that, once the income is there, as for the expenditure there, it will be a bit my But once the income comes in, then you begin to do it. Where the income is even delayed, then you can get a bank to support you so that when the income comes in, you can service the debt. It's a basic principle that we must always have at our mind too. This idea of living by the day, living home.
Pay as you go.
Yes, and then
it is wrong.
And doing the hope.
I'll meet Uncle Charles.
Correct.
Give me
Hope.
some 500 Ghana
No.
cedis.
No.
You know, I'll meet Auntie Grace.
Yes.
You know.
No, we should move away
they call
from
it
the hope.
pa.
When you do the hope thing, there'll be a day that even your friends, once you make a call, they are avoiding your calls.
Yeah.
For all you know, you're not going to borrow that day. You're just going to check the friends out. But because you have a tendency of calling and asking for Momo and all those things, emergency calls for the person, people will deny you. So sit back, reflect, and see what can I do to improve my being. My being here, I'm referring to your income. What can I do? What can I cut? I don't focus on the what can I cut, because once the income is there, because when you cut and cut unnecessarily, it can lead into trouble. So ask yourself, what can I do more than I'm doing now? So whilst this first occasion, Christmas, we're all enjoying, spend time to reflect also on what can you do to improve on your income. It is very clear, very important. What can you do? This year, last year, I said I need to have something to do relating to cybersecurity to provide consultancy. So the whole of this year, my focus was that with Harvard University. And I just got it around September. So now I have a skill in cybersecurity at my age. So you have to plan and decide that this is the skill that I need, because I realize that's the new market. So you must always do that. So let's shift small. Don't leapfrog, you break your leg. So shift small and say, next year, I need to add one more skill that would bring me additional income.
So that's you started the planning already for the next December. If you plan well, if you save well, listen, you can go to the Kempinski's, you can go to the Polo Club, you can go to the Pitch Club.
Oh, is that where you play now?
No, I'm not. I'm just citing examples. You can go to all those places, and come January, your bank is not empty.
Correct, perfecto. So everything boils down to plan and the skill. And I keep on emphasizing the skill because of your audience. It's very important that continuous skills improvement at the back of your mind must be core, so that your income can always be increased or be sustained.
Would you advise savings as well? I know somebody says that, George, every income I get, I split a fraction of that and I put it away somewhere. For an emergency, I don't touch that money. In case there's an emergency, I forget about the fact that there's even that money somewhere. As we talk about spending right, you talked about the parties, the events, the concerts, and all those things, being very selective on them and which one you go and not and all the rest. Should I think about saving also? Because I bring up this whole example about the fact that, why do you tell me to fast when the feast is going on?
Well, because the feast will be over. And then you got to sustain life.
So looking at the chicken, the roasted pork, and somebody's advising me to fast. And that's what I'm talking about, that in these times again.
But those are instant gratification. You got to go beyond that, because yes, once you eat that, tomorrow what happens to you? Because don't acquire a habit that you cannot sustain. Very important.
In these times as well.
Yes. The bit about the savings, I'd encourage all and sundry that do a standing order with insurance companies, life insurance company. It could be a year, it could be 2 years. So immediately your salary hits your account as a corporate person, that percentage goes into insurance company so that you will have the net. End of the year, you can go and cash out if you do it yearly. So in itself, the only good thing about the direct debit for insurance and things is that should anything happen to you, because the sum assured is there, you will get it. Should anything happen to you, you get it. The ordinary savings, the money will be there. But should anything happen to you, you can't get it. You get as long as or as much as you have contributed. So even if you are doing 200 Ghana every month, you get 2,400 Ghana by the end of the year. And that's where you say, okay, last year, Christmas, the whole family and my good self, for the 4 days, we spent 2,400. Next year, we want to spend 3,600. On the basis of that, the direct debit should be 300 starting from January.
So, Uncle, just as you try and wrap up on this program again, in just a minute or so, one will say that how do you start it right next year? You know, all these things in just a minute as well, some will say. Starting right on 2021 with your finances as well.
Oh,
just you spend so much.
Start right means that don't start next year with debt.
That is critical.
Yeah, critical. Don't start next year with debt. And then
Therefore, don't borrow to chill this Christmas.
And then 2, focus on a skill that will increase your income. Focus on a skill. As for the expenditure, once the income is there, you can decide, you can choose and pick. I want you to money so once the income is there, you won't be worried too much. Right. So the skill to enhance your income, very important. And don't start the year with debt. Else, by the time you are focused on new job, the debt holders are worrying you, calling you, and you can't focus. Thank you, George.
Uncle, just whilst you wrap up on this, is Christmas and the season of giving us. So, I mean, anybody on your mind you want to wish the person a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, your consultant, you don't want to clap them all in one. I mean, who's that special person? I mean, the family, right?
It's the family. It's the wife and kids. You know, now they are mature, so they are not kids. You want to tell them kids, they want to be too.
What about your business consultant?
Of course, and to all my clients for Trust Consult and my employees, and hopefully we'll come back big next year, and then we'll probably be providing free services to the very micro small businesses.
I'll be the first person to tap into
Why
that.
not?
Why not? Because it's very, very critical about don't start the year as well with a debt. And to all those people that I've actually interviewed on PM Express for this year, listen, I know that the last minute calls, the pressure to move from the office. I'd like to wish you all a Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas and not a prosperous New Year, but a very exciting, fruitful New Year as well. All the best that you wish for yourselves, to our business partners, to our consultants, those we have engaged, those we have called, and from all of us, the wonderful team, the wonderful leadership of Joy Business and the things that we are doing there, we want to wish all of you a Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas from Santa George. And I promise you, those are the gifts I'm giving to you, and have a prosperous New Year. And I wish you all the best, whether covered or not covered. I believe that next year. And Bill Gates said one thing in his article, that we have learned all the challenges in 2020, that he's so optimistic that 2021 will be a good year, because we've seen all the challenges, that we are better prepared in going into 2021. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we came to you live from the Swiss Spirit Hotel here at Ridge in Accra. You can pass by to have some wonderful stuff for the season. My name is George Riafe. Call me Santa George. All the best, and we'll catch you later. Have a great day.